Right. Hey, before we go into like a Mance Raider thing, I want so as you look up something, let me read to folks what I think is a really good Ser Balon Swann theory. And let me just first pitch my thoughts on this, because this is always what happens. I think about a character, and as I go back and I read and I research on them, I think about their nature and what they might do in Winds of Winter and all that kind of stuff. So Ser Balon Swann is a character who you didn't choose him as a member of the Kingsguard to kill Tyrion, right? They didn't pick him. They picked Sir Mandon Moore for a reason. And it goes back to Bronn. It goes back to the connections to the Vale, Littlefinger, all that kind of stuff. But Sir Balon is portrayed as this honorable knight, and possibly his brother seemingly is a less honorable version of House Swann. You've got the black and the white of that house. So he's doing really really well. And as I said, he doesn't throw Tyrion under the bus during this whole trial where Tyrion, we know it's a complete, just Cersei's sending folks in there to say whatever they want to say. He comes in, he's honorable. Oberyn Martell will see that in him. Jaime sees it in him. People see him as an honorable white knight, worthy of the cloak, and someone who kind of reminds Jaime, when Jaime thinks about the Kingsguard of old, like Balon could fit in that. Balon kind of still is that type of character. Now, later on in the series, Cersei sends Ser Balon Swann back to retrieve Myrcella. And we've talked about this Darkstar thing, Darkstar versus Ser Balon Swann, and what may happen. So instead of reading the whole thing to you guys, I guess I'm just going to kind of point out some of the talking points of this theory. And it's essentially that he has been tasked to go down to Dorne and retrieve Myrcella. Myrcella has been attacked. Her ear has been cut, and she is Ares Oakheart he's been killed. Right? He's been killed, and it all comes down to the Sand Snakes are trying to push her as the new queen, to make a claim for her over Tommen when Joffrey is killed. Cersei has sent Balon down on this mission, and she's sent him on a secret mission, not just to go check on Myrcella or whatever, but to actually bring her back. And it's more devious than that. According to Dorne Martell, there's a plot to kill Trystane, and they're actually going to try to bring Myrcella back. There's going to be an ambush, and I think it's Cersei's way of thinking, like, there needs to be something that she can say to Dorne Martell or to the Martells that, like, I can't keep my daughter down there. It's unsafe. People are getting ambushed. Your own son was ambushed by people yelling half-man, and they rush out and they kill people. Ser Balon's not cool with this, Matt. He's not necessarily, I don't think he's entirely on board, but, like, there's no one left, really. You've got all the Lannisters being killed. He doesn't really have... He's got Cersei's there, and she's in charge telling him what to do. Like, he takes great pride in protecting Tommen and protecting the king. He says that he's sorry to Jaime about, like, not protecting Joffrey. He takes his duty seriously. So he's now been given orders that put him in a position of dishonor. The Queen Regent is having him go down there and do something dishonorable. So he's going to, like, what's he going to do? The big question is, what is Ser Balon Swann going to do? He's also, I think, from Dorne. I think, you can look this up for me. I think House Swann is from that region. So I think Dorne probably wants to cut him a little bit of slack, maybe, and maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, he does not want to, he suggests that they return Myrcella by sea, and Balon refuses to do that, saying it's too dangerous, and he wants to take her by road. So that tips off Dorne to almost say, yeah, he's in on some plot. There's something wrong here. I wouldn't be surprised, Sir Matt, if Ser Balon on the side had informed Dorne that there's something dishonorable happening. You know what I mean? And that because he goes to fight Darkstar on, like, it's the honorable thing to do. You attacked the royal family. You attacked Princess Myrcella. They're leading him to Gerald Dane for a fight. And I just kind of so the big theory on this just to get to the too long didn't read section of this is that Ser Balon Swann is an honorable man and he will defect to Aegon, young Griff, instead of going through with his orders to kill Trystane. And I thought that was interesting because I was just like, okay, he's being led down to this duel in this battle. He may figure out that he's been played by Cersei, and that may really upset him, and it may be something that he seems is dishonorable. And we always talk about like who would be in young Griff's Kingsguard and who would be someone who would switch over sides. People have talked about Gerald Dane being the Darkstar being in his Kingsguard. Well, not if he's dead, not if Balon Swann kills him, and he's there to kind of shift over. So I thought that was cool. It's just like a connection to this chapter and White Cloaks and that character.
Yeah, and so they are House Swann is from Stonehelm, which is technically in the Stormlands, but I'm trying to very quickly pull up. There's a map I really like. It's that one. You guys should absolutely try to find this map too if you can ever get your hands on it. It's the one that somebody did it's like a super big file, and it's that one where it's like almost looks like an old like I don't know, but it's got all of the houses on it.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I think you'll notice it, but it's like almost like cartoony, like storybook drawn. It's like a hand drawn entire thing of Westeros map, and it's like a 4K file. But anyway, this is the one exactly that I was looking for here. So Stonehelm is the Stormlands, right? Sort of curves around, and it's in the Sea of Dorne, like it touches the Sea of Dorne. So it's technically in the Stormlands, but it's like it's right there in the Sea of Dorne. So it's actually the Dornish marches come up past it into the Stormlands technically.
Yeah, so okay, that's a really good point. So here's something interesting. So his father, Lord Swann, owes his fealty to Storm's Inn, yet has kept his levies at home throughout the War of the Five Kings. His men are fresh, trained, and ready, whereas many other houses have been depleted. Likely this is justified by the two Dornish armies in the Bone Way and the Prince's Pass. So he's really close to that, right? But the Swann's levies could be raised if those armies marched out on behalf of Aegon. Ser Balon, meanwhile, yeah. Okay, cool. So, let's see. Oh my gosh. He may be so he's actually Stonehelm is like next door to Blackhaven, which is your favorite character. Beric Dondarrion.
Beric Dondarrion, yes. Yep. House Dondarrion.
Yep. Yeah. So he's actually his father's like he's there, like he may be put in a situation where it's like a position between family and he's already been opposed and on the opposite side of fighting his brother. And now if that Boneway army were to join up with House Swann, if House Swann sends a fresh set of levies and men and to this Dornish army that is right there in the Boneway that Aegon may be leading, like according to the Ariana chapters, he's already meeting Mace Tyrell, excuse me, on the field. So maybe there is a situation where Balon joins up with that group and says it's time to switch over. This Redditor goes on to kind of say there have been Kingsguard who have switched sides. And, I mean, one of the most honorable is Ser Barristan Selmy. He's been kicked out of the Kingsguard, right? Now he's joined up with Daenerys. And, if you put a Kingsguard member in that position, Balon may think, like, I have been duped a little bit. And it's not his fault, but he's been put in a situation where he's asked to do something super dishonorable and wrong. And he's not the type of guy who would do that. I think it's John Connington is telling young Griff when he's thinking about Duck to be his Kingsguard. He's sort of like, that guy's not the type of guy we need in our Kingsguard. And there's allusions and references to someone like Ser Balon Swann. What he calls a good Kingsguard member is someone who's true and solid. and Ser Balon is often described as that. So,
yeah,
just kind of cool, you know. I mean, just an interesting
absolutely
thought on Ser Balon Swann.
Yes, absolutely.